Please. Where we go?
New governor. All right, ladies. We are extremely honored to have with us this evening Senator Joe Manchin, so please welcome him.
Whoa, hold on. Let me thank Bonnie first of all. Can you all hear me? This is supposed to be something that's not doing very good here. I don't know who. We'll make that work. First of all, to Bonnie and Katie, where's our new governor? Where's the new governor? I know what it feels like. To our Girl State Director, Michelle Serbal. Where's Michelle? I know she's right there. Michelle, thank you so much. Thank you. Especially to the auxiliary, every one of you all. God bless you for what you continue to do. This is not done in every state, I understand. For the Girl State, it is. Do we have the auxiliary in every state that does? Not done as well. What do you think about that, huh? To Father Wheeling Jesuit has been so kind to host. I hope they fed you well. I know they did. And I hope they took care of you. Right? Let's hear it for Wheeling Jesuit. To the entire Girl State staff, all the staffers, we have an awful lot of, we're the staffers. Where's all the staffers? Okay. To all the staffers, thank you so much for giving of your time. But most importantly, to all of you, to each one of you who have participated. And what I want to talk about, someone says, what are you going to talk about? You know, someone once said, high achievement always takes place in the framework of high expectations. Somebody saw something in you. Somebody believed in you. Think about it. Here, where's all your friends that didn't make it? Huh? There's a lot of friends back home, right? Just didn't make it. So somebody saw something special in each one of you. You might not see it in yourself yet or right now, but you will. It depends on what you want to do with it. Now you can go ahead and say, I had a great experience. Girl State was an unbelievable experience. Nothing like it. Can't even explain it. It was so good. And I hope you had that experience. Now I just came back from Boys State. I spoke there. I want to hear a little excitement here because I think you all are much more energetic than they were. Well, let me tell you, it's a special, special opportunity that you've been given. And you can go ahead and take this home with you and keep it inside of you and say, I felt so good, I really did something. I participated in something special. A lot of my friends never had a chance. They weren't selected. They weren't recommended. They didn't make the effort to get where I've been. But I can go home now and share that experience, and I can also mentor or tutor other young ladies who like to see experience this. That's really what you can do. You can do something special with this. And it'll be your life. You'll look back when you have children and grandchildren, and you're going to say, guess what? Mom or Nana went to Girl State. I was there. I made some of the best friends, lifelong friends. It was an unbelievable experience. So there's certain things that I wanted to talk to you about. But first of all, some of you have really overcome odds to get here. There's one I want to share, and the staff said I could share this, and I wanted to share this one. Jeha Bowen, Jeha, the Legion Auxiliary, is so proud of you. And they said it would be okay to share this, but everybody was so proud, and they asked me to mention your story because you have overcome adversity to be here today. I know a lot of you have. Jeha's road to Girl State was not paved with gold. As a matter of fact, she and her sister lived in conditions that no children should have to endure. They were not safe, they were not cared for, and they were not allowed just to be kids. Jeha had a different name, and she certainly had a different life. Her life was one filled with pain, suffering, drugs, and danger. By the grace of God and the golden heart of her grandmother, she has a future that looks very different from her past. Today, Jaya has been selected by her peers as one of their outstanding citizens. She also has the opportunity to be selected to attend Girls Nation, should she be chosen among the 27 outstanding citizen finalists. Jaya and all of the girls, and all of you all, have had to struggle extra hard to be where you are today and to get to where you want to go. I can only say, go girl, go. Can you all hear me? Can you all hear me back there? I want to talk to you about maybe what purpose in life. You'll be striving for many years to figuring out, what's my purpose? What am I supposed to do? What can I do? But giving something back. I don't care whether you came from a big fancy neighborhood, a big fancy house. I don't care whether you came from maybe not so big fancy neighborhood, maybe not so big fancy house. I always said I was growing up. Now I grew up in a little community called Farmington. Anyone ever hear of Farmington, West Virginia? So those of you who know Marion County, where we're from, maybe there's 300-400 people live in that little town when I grew up, maybe 500 on a good day. So I said I was a privileged child. So you would think, oh man, it must have been a big fancy home. Well, I grew up in a 3-room. Well, it must have been a big fancy neighborhood. Well, it was between the creek and the railroad tracks. Okay? Well, why did I think I was privileged? Why would you think? I had unconditional love every day of my life. I knew somebody loved me beyond anything and everything, stronger and different. I had unconditional love. See, it wasn't material. It wasn't anything monetarily. It was just unconditional love. Give it. Now, you can do that. You don't have to be special to do that. You don't even have to be in Girl State to be able to go back and give something. You can get your friends and organize them to try to give something back. How many have you been to a soup opera? How many to a homeless shelter? Think about all the things that you can do and share with, the good fortunes you've had. How many of you all, without raising your hands, I want you to think in your mind, have had a special childhood because you have unconditional love? Think about that now. How many of you know that there's someone that loves you beyond even you loving yourself that much? They would do anything. They'd sacrifice. They'd do without. They've probably gone without for you. If you've got that kind of love in your life, you know how special and lucky you are? I never forget, I went over to Afghanistan the first time I was over there. And it's a war-torn area. It's very difficult, very tough. We live in a troubled world in a divided country with a divided world right now. And I'm concerned about it. And we'll talk about that in a few seconds. But the thing that impressed me more than anything, I was driving from downtown Kabul up to Bagram Air Force Base. And this base, which Americans and any of you have been over there, if they've been in Afghanistan, they've been to Bagram. It's a very dangerous stretch of road that we drive on to get there. When I was driving and we were going through Kabul, I saw all these little young ladies, little girls. Now, I saw little girls I knew was 6, 7, 8 years old. I saw girls I knew were 12, 15, and maybe even a little bit older. And they had a white handkerchief on their head. And I kept saying, what's going on? They said, do you understand? School for the first time, they get to go to school. Girls weren't able to be educated. Didn't think it was worth it. Didn't think that was a girl's place to have an education. Now, these were little girls that maybe for the first time would go to school, 6, 7, 8 years old. These were girls 12, 14, 15, never been to school. Couldn't wait. And guess what? Walking through a war zone to get to school. Through an absolute zone to get to school. It was unbelievable. They had us in armored cars with CIA and SWAT teams all around us protecting us. And these little girls were walking through the streets of Kabul that had been bombed and blown up to go to school. Now that impressed me. And I'm thinking, we take things for granted. How many of us take things, our lives for granted? Let me ask you, how many of you took any veteran? When you see a person in uniform, we have our state policemen. You see people basically. When you see somebody like that, do you understand they're willing to take a bullet for you? They're willing to give their life for you and me. Just stop and say thank you for your service. Thank you for what you do. Everybody's getting attacked. Social media, I don't know how you all handle today. Cyberbullying is the worst thing going on. I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen. I hope you all don't partake in that, and I hope you would encourage nobody else to do that. It's just mean and it's evil. It destroys people's lives, especially when you're building up so much of your skills and you're building up self-confidence. And to let somebody tear it down, you all are special. You wouldn't be here if you're not. I can only encourage all of you to stay in West Virginia. I hope you would. You know, I've been all over the world, and I can tell you there's no place better than home, and that's West Virginia. When I leave Washington, D.C., and I cross the mountain and see the sign, "Welcome to wild, wonderful West Virginia," I feel a complete relief, like I'm coming home. I have been able to travel in different parts of the world, and right now we have a very hot spot in North Africa, East. I'm concerned about your generation and the things that are going on, the decisions we're making. I can assure you, as a United States Senator representing the great state of West Virginia, I tell people, we come from a hockey state. We're not afraid to fight. You ought to stand up when people want to tell a joke about West Virginia, and you know how they'll tell about, you've heard them, I'm sure. And then you even heard people from West Virginia say, well, I can tell you a better joke than that. And then we tell a joke on ourselves. We'll tell a joke on ourselves because we heard one that's a little bit funnier. Well, they asked me, let me want to tell them. I said, I'll tell you the little place I come from. I come from a state where we have more veterans per capita, more people willing to die for you, that have shed more blood and lost more life for the cause of freedom than any other little state. We've done the heavy lifting. We mine the coal, makes the ships, makes the steel, that builds the guns and ships to defend you. We built the industrial might, if you will. My little state is the most beautiful state you've ever seen. It's called West Virginia. You should do that with pride. You really should. Because we've given our all. Now I said, we've been in war for 13 years in the Middle East, longest war in the history of the United States of America. We've lost about 7,000 men and women. We've maimed about 55,000, and we've got people coming back by the thousands with other challenges, PTSD and things of this sort. And you wonder what for. We spent $2 trillion. And the place is in more turmoil now. But you have to understand it. Some people in Washington want to send more troops and want to continue this fighting. And I've only said this. I can't make you fight for your hometown. I can't make you fight for your family if you don't think you're a part of your family or if you don't think you have a community worth fighting for. I can't make it. I can't come and fight for you and put it together and say, okay, now I've got your family right, now I've got your community right, so it's yours. Because you have no ownership. You haven't taken ownership. If you don't take ownership, the United States of America can't be everything to everybody. So I've said, until the people, we got the Kurds, the Sunnis, and the Shiites are willing to fight, and they have identity, and they think that is theirs, and it's worth sacrificing. In America, we don't have any problem. We know what our country's about, and we've stepped to the plate, and we're willing to fight and die for it. You all have probably members of your family that have been in the military. You probably have lost friends or family members in the military fighting for this country. Now, what I'm telling you right now is this. I'm concerned about it from this standpoint. How many of you all believe you own this country? How many of you believe this is your country? By golly, I own a piece. I own the United States of America. Very few, right? It's been bred into you. It's not been basically driven into you. It's not been educated into you. Let me ask you this. How many of you have family members, somebody in your family owns a car? Everybody, right? Okay. How many of you had a car that was rented? A rental car. Your parents or family rented a car. Now let me ask you the question. Did your mom and dad basically check the tire pressure, the oil pressure, and everything, put new oil, take care of that rented car when they took it back? Or did they buy the cheapest gas they could just to get it back? Because it wasn't theirs. They don't treat it the same. If you rent a house or you own a house, you treat them differently. If you rent something and you own something, you treat it differently. And I'm concerned that this new millennial generation, which you are, a millennial generation, you think you're just passing through and you're renters. And maybe you don't own it. Maybe it's not your, you say, well, it's not mine. Nobody raised their hand very much. Here's the thing. If we had a law in America today that said that every 18-year-old male or female, had to give 1 or at least 2 years of service to their country, what would you think about that? Would you think I'm infringing on your rights? That I shouldn't make you do anything? Or I said, here's what too. It's the law, you've got to do it, and guess what you get? You get some education paid for. You're going to learn an experience. You can pick what you want. You want to go into healthcare, Red Cross, AmeriCorps, teaching. What do you want to do? Go out and give something of yourself for at least 1 to 2 years. And then you're going to say, you know what? I own this country. I've paid for it. This is my country. We're talking about this. I'm working with Stanley McChrystal now, retired general. Ran all the special forces in the Middle East. Unbelievable human being. And we're trying to see if we can get public policy where people will buy in. There are going to be people pushing back and saying, I'm crazy to do something like this. But I can tell you, anytime you've been willing to sacrifice a little bit and give something back, you get a lot more out of it than what you gave. It's pretty special. It's a pretty special feeling. All of you have given something. You wouldn't be here. Again, I said, the auxiliary in your hometown, somebody saw something. Somebody chose you some way. Somebody recommended that you should be here. This is a girl worth giving a good week of our time. This is a girl, a young lady, I think is going to be able to give so much back. So we're going to invest into her. So I say, think about taking ownership. Think about going home and making a difference. Think about going back and tell that special person who gave you unconditional love that you love them just as much as they love you. Think about that. I don't care who it is. Could be mom and dad, could be a grandma or grandpa, could be a friend down the street that you think really has gone beyond the call of duty for you. But reach out to somebody and say thank you. I don't know if you know how much I appreciate what you've done for me. I don't know if I've said it enough because we very seldom. And today I see everybody got their texting and their Facebooking and their Twittering and on and on and on. I mean, we don't have time to talk. We don't have time to communicate. I can that I've been very blessed. I've had an opportunity to serve you in many capacities. Someone says, when you were governor, Joe, what do you remember about being governor? What do you think you really did? And you know, I know we did a lot of good things. The state was in great shape. We increased education attainment. We helped senior citizens. We put our priorities based on our values. A lot of good things. They kept saying, well, give me one thing. Let me tell you what stands out in my mind more than anything. When I became governor, they had just, because of financial problems in the state, they had just cut back clothing vouchers. Clothing vouchers basically lived in certain guidelines and below. The family didn't have enough income. So the child would get a clothing voucher. They cut it back to $100. $100. Governor, I raised it to $200. And I'll never forget. I'm trying to think what part of the state, but it makes no difference. A young little girl came up to me, and she had to be 12 years of age, 6th grade. I know I was talking to a grade school. She kept tugging on me. She said, I want to thank you. And I said, honey, what do you want to thank me for? She says, you let me fit in. She was able, with that $200, to buy some clothes that she felt like she fit in for the first time. That's pretty special. So all the things that I think or people think I might have accomplished as governor, that one sticks with me more than anything. So, you know, when you've heard people say, oh, don't worry, they all do that. They all say that. My uncle one time, A. James Manchin, I don't know if you all remember that name or not, but I doubt if you do, but he was a pretty colorful. Most of our auxiliary back there, the ladies do very much. They're all smiling because they all have a story about A. James. He was quite a colorful fellow. And anyway, A. James, I went with him, Secretary of State at the time, and he was to a lady, and I went to her home. She's 80-some years of age, and she was in a wheelchair, and her daughter. Well, her daughter did not care for my uncle. I could tell that. You ever not walk in a home, you can tell somebody doesn't want you in the house. Well, she didn't, but you were there. Well, Uncle Jimmy could sense very quickly that this lady did not want him to be in her house, and she was very upset about that. To her mother, the elderly lady, put a medallion around her and gave her this certificate, beautiful certificate. The girl that didn't like my uncle, she says, Mom, I don't know why you're gushing so much. He gives by the thousands. She looked at her daughter and says, not with my name on it. That means that's special. No matter what you think you've heard, how many times you've heard it, it's special to the person that's telling you or you're communicating with, because that's the first time for that person. So you follow me? There's an old saying in my grandmother, and if you don't remember anything else I'm telling you and I've said to you, remember this. You all are the best and the brightest. We've got more hope for you to succeed than any group of young ladies we have in the state. So we're counting on you. We're counting on you. But you remember this. My grandmother told me, and I'll never forget, I was the first one to go to college. You knew Mama Kay. Mama Kay, I go home and I want to tell my grandmother and grandfather everything I've learned in college. I'm learning on, and they could tell I was just gushing. Almost a little bit like I was bragging, because I was smart now. I'm learning things. My grandmother looked at me and she said, honey, just remember this. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Remember that. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. You ever talk to somebody you knew they felt your pain? You knew they really liked you? They wanted to help you. They were really your friend? You ever talk to somebody who just gave you an answer because they thought it was the right answer to get rid of you? Could care less about your troubles, your challenges, or anything. So people don't care how smart you are and how much you know or how much you think that you know until they know how much you care. It's the greatest lesson in life. It'll take you further than you can imagine. See? And it will. Because you know what? You keep that in your mind. Wait a minute. Am I really communicating? Am I paying attention? Can I help? I want that person to know how much I care. And when you do that, you're going to be fine. You can be anything you want to be. There's going to be a woman president. Maybe before one of you will be president. Huh? But you're going to be a senator. We got senators. I serve with a lot of wonderful women senators. And they bring so much to the table. They're tough. And they'll fight with any of the men and give them more than a run for the money, because they're usually smarter than the men. And they usually study harder and prepare better. So I'm telling you, you can choose any profession you want. But always remember, you got to give something back. So, an American once said, success is the courage, the determination, and the will to become the person that you believe you were meant to be. To have the courage to become the person you believe that you were meant to be. All of you believe you were meant to be something. All of you know you can do something. I know that. And I know other people believe you can do something. Now you got to go show them. You just got to get up and go show them. You got to show them that basically that unconditional love, that investment, that belief is not for naught. It's for something. And let me say one more thing, and I want you to think about this. I've been to a lot of meetings in my life as a member of the Senate, Congress, a member as a governor. I've been to a lot of secured meetings where, I go way down in below the Senate Capitol. There's some secured rooms. They're all armored rooms that we go into, so nobody can bug us or hear us, and they tell me anything and everything going on in the world. I've been to all those meetings, and not one meeting have I ever had. Not one meeting have I ever had where they said, we've got to go and pass some legislation to keep people from leaving America. They're just trying to get out of here too fast. We've got to stop them. Not one meeting have I had. About how bad things are, how messed up and how crazy the country is right now. But for some reason, nobody wants to leave. I've had a meeting. If I've had one meeting, I've had a meeting, at least one meeting a week about what are we going to do about immigration, keeping people from coming, undesirable, all that, people wanting to come here, but never about anybody wanting to leave. So remember this. This little flag, I'm going to tell you flag. You're in the greatest country the world has ever known. History for mankind has never seen a country like the United States of America. A caring, sharing, giving country such as this. We are a world leader. We're a superpower. Superpower means more than just having super military might or super monetary money. It means have super compassion, super negotiating powers, be able to bring people together. This little flag, if you look at it, I'm going to tell you something about it. The next time you see the flag, it's only some stripes of red and white. It's only some stars on a field of blue. It's only a little cotton flag. doesn't mean anything to you. Oh, yes, it does, for beneath its folds, our people are safe on land and sea, and it stands for a land where God is still king, and His truth and His freedoms are free. So let us love it well and keep it pure as our banner of liberty. This flag is the hope of the world. I don't care where you go. When this flag flies, people are praying to the good Lord that they could get under this flag to have the freedoms that we have, the things we take for granted, the things that we condemn and ridicule. They'd love to be in this position. They'd love to have the opportunity to say, this is my flag. This is my country. I will do anything and everything I can to protect her. So I say to all of you, God bless each and every one for having me tonight. Thank you. All right. Well, thank you all. Thank you all for waiting. Thank you all for being great. I'm going to go stand and sketch all of these coming out. Hey, Mary, what do we do now? Michelle, what do we do? I want to meet all the girls coming out. I want to shake their hand. They leave, so I can that way. We'll do. I'll do. Hey, I can do pictures. I can, if you want, ask some questions to me. You want questions? You get them ready. Where's Jaya? Okay. Where's Jaya?
Jaya, come here.
Come here, baby. Come here. That's great.
Here, Northern Panhandle.
Northern Panhandle. I was asking where she was at. You all have the different
Community.
I was going to say different tribes.
Yes.
Citizens don't live in tribes. What are we going to do, girls? I'll tell you what. I'll do pictures and all that. Does anybody have any questions at all? First of all, it's amazing you all are concerned about, okay, what do you have?